All right. That game yesterday, they beat the Chiefs, which is good. They win on the road in Arrowhead. Fantastic. They led Mahomes to his first 3-game losing streak ever. Amazing. Love it. They're 2-0, which is a lot better than a lot of teams across football could say today. But, man, oh, man, is it exhausting. It's rewarding, but it's an exhausting process to get there. That's the takeaway for me for yesterday. I got done watching that game. My roommate looks at me. He's like, everything all right? He's not an Eagles fan. He looks at me. He's like, everything all right? Like, yeah. I'm just tired. I feel like I just went through 60 minutes of war right there watching that game.
Absolute grind.
I had to go take a walk to clear my mind of the thoughts I had of that game. And it's September. So the idea that this is the new preseason, this is what you should expect from early season football, very true. Very much the storylines that you drive home that we talked about week 1. Why I was concerned about week 1, just because it's week 1. Week 2, you saw it again. It's not perfect football. It's not clean football. Grind it out. This team did that in large part last season, doing it again right now. There's questions about sustainability from it, but the biggest thing that they're able to do is once again find a way, any way, to get themselves a victory. And that's the biggest takeaway from this group. I wanted for so long in my life to be the team in the NFL where it's like, wow, they just pulled that one out of the hat and did it again. And we're watching week in and week out with Sirianni with this group, them become that group in the NFL where it's like, yeah, the numbers, when you look at it, it's like, how in the world is this team doing this? And yet they find a way to do it. And it's a joyful thing. It's just an exhausting process to get there. The 60 minutes in which you watch a football leads to a very rewarding feeling. But, man, was that a tough watch, basically offensively for you the entire game.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I don't think that as much as we hoped it would be Super Bowl Part 2 with this, 40 points put up, that's not realistic. One, obviously the personnel has changed on both sides of the ball for both teams, but really, when you look at this, was a Chiefs team that was absolutely desperate for a win. So you were going to get their best shot. They were at home. Patrick Mahomes has never started the season 0-2, and they were staring at it right in the face. They had to grind it out. I think there's been a lot, we talked on the post-game show last night, a lot of talk about, is Kevin Patullo not calling, an exotic enough offense? Are you getting the guys enough movement? Are you seeing enough type of variety? And maybe he's still easing into it because I feel like there wasn't a lot of different things. It was like A.J. Brown, you're just going to do this one thing. And Devontae Smith, you're just going to do this one thing. And with no Dallas Goedert, it does make it a little bit more one-dimensional at times. But, yeah, I mean, I think there's going to be some variety that needs to be taking place going forward. You're not going to win a lot of games when you throw for just 100 yards. 101.
No.
But you are when your defense is going to play out of their mind. And I thought the defense played exceptionally well.
Yeah, a lot from the defensive side of things. I mean, that defensive front, finally.
A lot of pressure.
Finally, it's been 2 weeks. But you expected more out of that group just because they told you they were expecting more of that group by the way they invested it. They wanted to see Nolan Smith take that jump. They wanted to see Jake Hunt take that jump. Really, it was Zadarius Smith that stuck out in neon to me from that defensive front. The secondary, Makuba had a couple of tough spots in there, but come on, that interception, like that is a massive difference in that game. We're going to get to that conversation a little bit later about, I know after week 1, there were some people talking, well, if CeeDee Lamb catches those passes, well, Travis Kelce is able to keep his hands on that. But you felt also the presence of Jalen Carter being back. The linebacker play, to me, continues to be the storyline of this group.
Incredible.
Defensively. So you were able to get enough defensively. You're able to slow them down. I think part of it is I might be a little bit of that simple crew where it's like, I like points. And it's like, do you actually love watching defensive battles? I know there was I don't know who it was. I don't know if it was someone during halftime, if it was one of Davis or Brady that were like, you just got to love, or Burkhardt and Brady, where it's like, you just got to love a defensive battle. And it's like, do you? Do I have to love it? My offense looks like this. Do I have to love the defensive battle? That's the biggest thing for me. Offensively, there will be a question about sustainability this week going forward. And A.J. Brown talked about this. So let's hear first from the star wide receiver, who I can imagine is holding back a little bit of how he feels right now, just because slow week 1. Everyone's like, well, they got to go to him week 2. They did go to him. but he's not putting up those numbers. Listen to A.J. Brown after the game talking about this offense.
I think the goal is to win the game. So, no matter what that looks like, and I think the reason why people may talk about it because they want to know if it's substantial, and can you sustain that throughout the season. So, I think that's fair. I think that's a fair thing to talk about. But, our job is to continue to try to find a way to win. So
I think it's a fair question whether or not it's sustainable.
Yeah.
It is a fair question. Here's the deal with yesterday. It's September. Stacking a win against the reigning AFC champion, who is already 0-1 in a pretty desperate spot to get themselves a victory, on the road in Arrowhead in an environment like that is impressive. It's an impressive win for the Eagles. That's the headline. One of the side stories here is the sustainability of this offense. It's sustainable in September. It's sustainable probably somewhere into October, where you're able to make this work. My biggest issue, and a lot of people talk about the passing game, and that's justifiable to have that conversation. Even last year when the passing game wasn't going great, you were able to generate explosive plays in the running game like nobody's business.
Right.
That's why the season that Saquon had was as impressive as it was. The 2,000 yards, yes, obviously that's impressive, but the number of 70-yard runs that allowed that season to happen, the number of just big plays, here's a 50-yard run from Saquon that he's going to break off, and I think we all expect that to happen at some point. But without those explosive plays, that's the part of this that isn't sustainable and that you can't win, again, come January without that. Right now in September, it's totally acceptable. You win a game, you don't look very good offensively, it's fine. You got plenty of time. You got a first-time play caller against Spags.
Right.
That's a way you can draw this up. You say acceptable, impressive, in terms of the fact that you're able to win that game on the road against that caliber of opponent. But come January, without explosive plays, that's not a sustainable form of offense.
Yeah, I think you went all the way to January, but certainly you can even start next week against the Rams. It's not sustainable as far as the whole season, and it's not sustainable sometimes even within a game because you're going to find yourself having to fight tooth and nail, which is fine for some games, but other games you're going to run out of gas, I would think. That is just a really tough way. I mean, that 88 yards that Saquon Barkley earned was a very tough 88 yards. That the game book is out on him. Everybody knows it. It's not a big secret. They're going to try to stack the box, bottle him up, and he earns it. He's going to work for those yards. The line's got to do a little bit better of a job, but it's just how it is. They're just going to stack the box. So therefore, I would think needs to be a little bit more creativity on the outside with the wide receivers, so you can kind of get a little bit more some of those big plays. I mean, 13 yards for the longest. Oh no, 28.
Yeah,
the 28. The one Devontae.
The jump ball to Devontae.
Yeah. And that's the thing for a guy like A.J. Brown. And he's right. Obviously, winning is the most important stat.
Which is great to hear him say that, by the way.
It's great. It's like the very first. He said it like multiple times, too.
And credit to him because last week, you weren't here with us, when he had that's a setup question conversation about the passing game. I didn't like that answer because you can always take a positive spin if you want. He took the positive spin there.
Yeah.
So thank you for listening, AJ. Appreciate you. But also, I have to give credit where credit's due because I did hear an answer that I liked from him.
Yeah, and it is the most important thing. But he wants to get involved in this offense, and he knows I'm a really good wide receiver. Good things happen when I catch the ball. And if there's a 50-50 ball, if you want to throw the ball up, A.J. Brown's going to get it. He's the king of those.
All right. And just to wrap up where we are with this team, Jalen Hurts, in one of the greatest hot mic moments of recent memory.
Good stuff.
He and Chris Jones at the end of the game talking before they kneel down. Here it is in all its glory. We won the bleeping game.
Yeah. And then he said to sit down.
Beautiful. Beautiful from the and that's the point.
Thinking. Like, I like Chris Jones. The guy can play on my team any day of the week, but he didn't get 100 yards. First of all, he got 101. And second of all, scoreboard. Like, they're kneeling down in victory formation at the end of the game.
Chiefs downfall theory feels a little bit stronger today. You haven't heard it yet? I'll go through it again for you. The Chiefs downfall theory feels a little bit stronger today. Just watching that team.
Really?
It feels. Yes, I'll explain.
Okay.
I'll explain to you. We'll get to that a little bit later on. But they win the game. That's the important part. It is absolutely acceptable to win a game like that in September. I can't get to January till I get to January. But the sustainability conversation for this offense is officially here because we've seen it back-to-back weeks. Mm-hmm. Spags, great defensive coordinator. Patullo, need more answers with that star level right now. Coming up, Nick Sirianni talking about that exact thing. Is it something that he means what he says? Or does he have to say what he says? We'll get to that coming up next. Alongside Amy Fadul, I'm Ray Dunn. This is Middays, 97.5, The Fanatic. Hey, it's Ray Dunn from The Midday Show. Thank you so much for watching our content. If you want more videos, you can click right here. Or how about you subscribe right here so you stay in the know on all that's coming from 97.5, The Fanatic.